Says we're live. There we go. All right. Yes.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our board meeting for this month. We're going to start with the Open Publics Meeting Act. This meeting is being held in accordance with the Sunshine Law, annual notice having been published on or about July 1st, 2025, in 2 local newspapers, with a copy on file with the board secretary and a copy to be posted on the TCCS website. Can I have a motion to open the meeting?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Sorry, this meeting is being called to order at 7:08.
7:08.
Okay, first order of business is the approval of minutes from the 5/12/2026 meeting, as well as the closed session from 5/12/26. Can I have a motion for approval of minutes? Let's do a motion. Second?
Second.
Lavino seconds. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, minutes approved. All righty, now we have the end. Oh, do you want me to say that?
Mission statement.
Oh, my mission statement. How do I forget that?
This is your thing.
Okay, yeah, this is my thing. We read the mission statement before each meeting to remember why we're here. So it is the mission of TCCS to provide a nurturing environment in which students realize their full intellectual potential and become self-directed learners who make both pragmatic and creative use of basic skills and who understand and appreciate the cultural diversity of our society. The faculty, staff, parents, extended family, and other members of the Child Support Network are committed to creating and operating a student-centered learning community which promotes and supports a child's natural curiosity and enthusiasm for acquiring knowledge. This learning community will follow a living curriculum, an experiential interdisciplinary study that encompasses literacy, critical thinking, and responsible social interaction, while empowering each child to demonstrate his or her unique interests and abilities.
Perfect. Okay. Should we take it away here?
Yeah.
All right. So tonight we do have 2 presentations that we traditionally have at the end of the year to review the data that we have for math and ELA. So we will invite our math chair, Mr. Adam, up first.
I just want to say thank you, Zimara, for all your
Oh my
dedication and congratulations on your last meeting.
Thank you.
This is the end of year math data presentation. It shows the iReady math data that we've collected this year. For each grade level and school, it will show the diagnostic results and then some different student growth measures. So just to review the iReady diagnostic, it's an adaptive assessment. Just as questions suit the student's needs, each item student sees individualized based on their answer to the previous question. Like, for example, series of correct answers will result in slightly harder questions, series incorrect yield slightly easier questions. So the purpose is not to give the student a score grade, but to determine the best way to support their learning. And here is on the graphs for each one. First, school-wide, it shows the beginning of the year placement, and then the end of where they ended at the end. Just to the colors, if you have trouble seeing, the dark green is mid or above grade level, the light green early above, yellow 1 grade level below, light red 2 or more, and then the dark red 3 or more grade levels. And then on this page just shows different growth measures. First is the progress towards annual typical growth. A lot of these for each grade, you're going to see it over 100%. The reason that is, for example, if one student to reach 100% growth needs to get 20 points, but let's say on their next diagnostic they go 60 points, that would be considered a 300% growth. So when you go to each grade level, it will show their percentage of the average for each grade level's growth. So the school's annual average growth was 131%. Next to that shows the current placement. Also, if you look underneath, it shows where they started. So you see mid above right now, 56% from 13% in the beginning of the year. Underneath each other one is the typical growth and the stretch growth. Typical growth is where we hope they reach by the end of the year. Stretch growth is more of just almost like an unattainable goal. They really have to work hard to hit that stretch growth. So here it shows that 68% of the school reached their typical growth, while 42% reached their stretch growth. And now we're going to break down by grade level. So if you have any questions, just as this is kindergarten.
And this is beginning of year versus end of year
This
for everybody.
this is what they took in September versus what they took at the end of May, beginning of June. And this shows their growth. And here we have first grade. Second grade. But you'll notice as we go through the grades, just every grade level made drastic improvements from September, which is great to see.
Any commentary? No?
No, I mean, I'm just, any questions? I'm waiting for any questions, but there's no questions. The next slide after this, before we go to upper school, we tried to just grab like a highlight from each grade level. So for kindergarten, 80% of students reached their typical growth measure. First grade, their on grade level went from 19% to 71%. In second grade, 96% of students improved placement. Third grade, they grew from 20 to 83% on grade level. And in fourth grade, they grew from 44% to 92% on grade level.
Great.
And then we moved to upper school. Just one thing that you notice, it's just fifth through eighth grade, seventh and eighth grade that is broken up in algebra and geometry. They just take a seventh grade diagnostic and an eighth grade diagnostic. So it's not broken up by class in seventh and eighth grade. Here's fifth grade.
I know I heard something.
Sixth grade. And a lot of the grades just made large swings from 1 to 2 grade levels below to mid or above grade level. Seventh grade. And then we have eighth grade. Usually when we get to the end of the topic, there's always a lot of conversation with seventh and eighth grade, but they really did a lot this year. As you can see, their progress was 611%. And I think, in the past 10 years, this is some of the highest data we've had for seventh and eighth grade.
Definitely.
So I give credit to the teacher and the students.
And the chair.
Some highlights from upper school data.
Exactly.
Fifth grade, 70% of students improved their placement. Sixth grade, 71 met their typical growth. 54% met their stretch growth in seventh grade, and 91% of students are on or above grade level in eighth grade. And just some things that are on the horizon for math. One, ensure successful implementation of updated SAVA's curriculum. So K to 8 will be using the updated 2027 version starting in September. Next thing is deliver targeted professional development. We're gonna have some training this week and next week before the end of the year, and then continue during August training. We're gonna update the curriculum to match the new program, or the updated program we'll be using over the summer, continue in September, and then math night in early October. And that's it.
My question is, and I'll always mean to ask this, these tests or these results, do they also include kids who are in.
This is,
Resource rooms
yep,
or
all-
separate?
all students. All students take the same diagnostic.
That's also why we like to look at like growth instead of just like on grade level or below grade level, because you have students who enter 2-3 years below grade level, and now if they're functioning 1-2 years below grade level, like that's what we want to see post intervention.
Yeah, I've been here 7 years. This is by far the best data we've ever seen. So thank you, Mr. Adam. All the work that you put into making sure that the curriculum is appropriate, supporting the staff members has been awesome to watch. And this just proves it. So this is by far like the best math ever. So keep it up and congratulations. That was awesome.
Okay. Try to top that, Ms. G.
Okay, welcome everybody, and your presentation for, this is our ELA data. So I actually put up, mine looks a little different than this, but it's the same stuff. So this is the school-wide placement. So this is just kind of like where everybody is from the beginning, middle, and the end of the year. And so just visually, you see that green line inching ahead and the yellow and red narrowing. But this is just, you could just take a look and digest it out of all the students we have. Percentages. The shaded green is, like it says, mid or above grade level, and then the green is earlier on grade level, below 2, and then the shaded gray, red is 3 or more. Okay, next. This is our overall annual typical growth for ELA. I won't, since we have a long meeting, I won't repeat what Adam said, but you see the stretch growth, I mean the typical growth, and then our current placement distribution there. So from 27%, we're now at 59%, and so on. Also really strong data. Okay. And this is placement by grade levels. If you just want to look there. Thought it was just a little bit easier to see. Like our percentages for above grade level are really high as a school. Okay, next slide. This is K's overall placement for the beginning, middle, and the end of the year. The one thing I do want to know is that within iReady, the spectrum of like on grade level, it could be if you're an early kindergartner all the way to the end, a late kindergartner, that is still considered on or above. So there are gaps within that, right? Like if students, it's the end of the year and you're still testing at an early grade K, teachers are like focusing on. So when we think about pulling groups, like there doesn't mean there's no groups happening or no interventions happening based on this data. It is very strong. However, there are like very nuanced pieces of data that teachers are looking at within these scores. So when you get your score as for your student and you see early K or early first or whatever have you at this point of the year, yes, like it's on grade level technically, but we would want to see kids depending on where they're at. And then this is just like the placement by the domain. I think this is like useful information just to see where kids are at. Phonological awareness, again, is that like hearing sounds, manipulating sounds. Phonics is like putting the words together. Frequency words are words that we see often, the, like, this, that. Vocabulary, and then obviously comprehension for fiction and nonfiction. First grade, beginning, middle, end. Really great. Solid. Second grade we can do. See, informational text as kids start to read to learn gets trickier and harder. Some of it is just like the skills, but a lot of it can be like background information, exposure. Go ahead, next slide. Third grade. Good, next slide. So you see phonological awareness, the shaded is because many of the kids pass out of that and they don't need to be, it's like really a foundational skill. They don't need to be tested on. Fourth grade. And then fourth grade, next slide. Okay, fifth grade. And anyone have any questions, you can stop. Definitely growth all around. Sixth grade. Dennis?
I think it's important to also note like the number of students that we're looking at.
See some improvement there with informational text. Overall placement. Okay, and then this is our, like, just to show you that we're using it as we intended. This is the last 4 weeks of our data, like of the percentage of kids passing the lessons, meaning they're making progress. And like Adam said, it's adaptive, so once they take this benchmark now, the lessons that they're on have been, they're improved for them and like put them on track. So sometimes when your kid's like, I'm getting bored, it's like, we're due for the diagnostic because now they're ready to place into new sections. So that's where kids are now. And then some updates, the interventions are proving to work. As I said, like the data looks great, but within there are still pieces and areas of growth that teachers are doing on the back end. We've made the announcement that K to 8 will now be using HMH into reading, and then the upper grades will do into literature. PD is scheduled in June 24th for teachers to begin, just to kick it off before the summer. It is going to be a big undertaking. It's very different from Super Kids, just how it's run and the materials and so forth. So we have PD in June and August. There was the AK Summer Store event, which was really wonderful. There are some extra books if anyone wasn't able to go or kids weren't there. They also had a parent engagement night with, I think the guest speaker was Rona Vega, who wrote a book. She gave everyone a signed copy. That was great. And some useful advice for raising kids and making sure they read and aim high. And then there's going to be a literacy night. We talked about this with the board of like starting in September as opposed to being at the end of the year, of just like getting families acclimated, especially now with this new curriculum, and what's the homework going to look like, and what are the expectations for reading logs, and what can you expect your kid to be learning throughout the day. Kind of just going to work around like mocking up what a day in the life of ELA would look like for kids. And then summer reading packets will be going out, so be on the lookout. Those are done, and yeah, that's it.
Is PD going to continue for like the HMH for especially with lower school teachers throughout next year?
Yes. They'll have like online access, like they'll have their like 12 hours or what have you with the actual people, and then they'll have like an online access. Yeah, and also like I can be a resource because I've been using it for 4 years. So.
Similar to Adam's feedback, I mean, this is incredible. This is really beautiful data. And I have to say the way we present the data now is really, really nice to see all that growth. It's been an honor working with you as well. This is probably the best gift I could have been given on my last meeting, all this really good data. So I hope it continues. And I just want to say, like, you know, for the public that when the board is working with our chairs, you know, we bring a lot of things up behind closed doors and we give them a vision and they run with it. We're just very critical at times. And I noticed that makes you guys just step up to the plate and excel, and our students do the same. You have to give a shout out to all those teachers. Like,
Yeah.
You know, the kindergarten teachers are killing it with the data, and it's kind of going all the way up. So it's amazing. So thank you for my gift. I appreciate it.
Okay, it's you. All right, now into some regular business. First and foremost, we've got our enrollment update. We are currently at our full enrollment of 387, and the only real facility we have is just an extension of what we've been talking about for the last several meetings, and then some. The HVAC project is starting next Monday. You know, so basically as soon as school's over, not next Monday, I'm sorry, the Monday after. So as soon as the regular school year winds down, we're going to be giving them full access to this area of the HVAC system to convert and make sure everything is ready for September. So that's really the only major facility update. We are going to be doing some roof repairs that we talked a little bit about. They spoke about it in committee, and I'm sure Joe may mention it during committee reports. But there are some I guess phased in roof repairs that we need to do to make sure. Whoa. I guess it's working. All right.
Little
Um,
technical
Checking, I
stuff
just
going on
had
here.
someone from the public saying that it was not working.
Oh,
So
okay.
just was checking.
That's good. Yeah, so we do need to do some roof repairs to address a little bit of leaking above the gym and some other areas. And we are looking at a longer term plan when it comes to making sure that the roof is in good condition. Other than that, I'm going to turn over to Ms. Torres. We'll talk a little bit about end of year events.
Hello, everyone. I won't talk about you guys yet. Wait to the end so we don't get emotional. But a little bit about events and graduation. On May 26th, we held the Jewish Heritage Month event. I want to thank Ms. Cohen for putting together the event and all of the parent volunteers. We had one parent read a book to our kindergarten to second grade students in the multipurpose room. And then we had the students from grades 5 through 8 rotate stations to learn about culture, food, and holidays. And it was a very successful event. It was our first one. They said there's a lot that they learned from it that they will do differently next year, but I definitely want to thank them for coordinating that event. On June 2nd, we had Scenic Library come visit. They talked about spoke to our students about summer reading and programs at the library. So thank you, Scenic Library. And then, as Juliana said, we had a summer SOAR event. On the 3rd, we had the parent night, and on the 4th, the student night. So I want to thank Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated for visiting us and hosting this event. They brought hundreds of books and dozens of dedicated volunteers to give 4 books to each student from kindergarten to 4th grade. The Bergen County Sheriff's Office came. We had the fire department, Teaneck Police Department, elected officials from Hackensack and Teaneck who donated their time to read the students. We had current parents, previous parents. It was definitely a big community event. So thank you for putting that together. June 10th was Field Day. It was an awesome, another community event. I want to thank Mr. T. for coordinating the student events, TCSEO for helping with the parent volunteers, the food, and all of the many parent volunteers that were there supporting and helping with this event, especially the some of the extra food that was brought. On Friday, we had our annual kindergarten meetup at the beach. It was great. The weather pulled through. It was amazing. It was great to see so many families meet up there. So it was my first time actually experiencing it. So I don't know. Now next year, I want to go every year now. We also had a 4th grade trip, and then it was the 8th grade dinner dance. And it was the first time our 8th grade parent committee put a showcase. It was a red carpet event. And I just really want to thank the 8th grade committee this year for doing a lot for our students this year. And I want to say to the students, if you're listening, and we do have one here, that you guys looked amazing. And so round of applause for the 8th grade committee and our students. Authors Day is 10 a.m. on Wednesday, and graduation is 6 p.m. So board members, please let us know if you're attending. We can get you a seat. 8th grade trip to Six Flags is on June 22nd. Kindergarten assessments on the 22nd and 23rd, PBIS party on the 24th, and then the last day of school is June 25th. So I hope I'm not missing anything.
It's busy, yeah.
Yeah, very quiet but busy. Thank you.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Torres. Yes, very busy time of year, but it's all, positive, exciting things. So I'm happy about that. All right, so tonight I do have a major presentation to give. I expected a full room, so please don't be too disappointed. But I actually recently on Thursday I presented to the staff at our staff meeting some of the changes that we're implementing for next year. It's a version of this presentation, but this one is really more suited to the board and the public. Later this week we're going to be following up. We'll send it out. So people have an idea of what's going on. I am aware that, in certain side conversations and chats and things like that, there are questions about what's potentially happening next year when it comes to grade configurations, teacher placements, and things like that. So this should answer just about all of those questions. I am not going to really get into specifics as far as who is teaching what and things like that, because those are real personnel things that we deal with, in-house. But when the time is appropriate, we'll be sharing that information with parents, and teachers will be reaching out to kids and everything else. All right. So this whole process started as a sort of a new way of thinking about how we wanted to do the master schedule for next year. For years, we've had, different changes, in terms of period times, what the day looks like, when certain classes take place and everything else. And this year I decided I wanted to form a school committee to really look at this and get major feedback from the staff about what has been working over the last couple of years, what we need to work on, and what we could potentially change. And then we looked at that. We also looked at parent feedback from surveys and over the last couple of years, and even some conversations that we've had during this year about things that we wanted to change, which also goes along with some of the other changes that we have with curriculum and everything else. So as I sort of alluded to at the last meeting, there are big changes coming, but it's all really student-centered and it's really in the best interest of the kids. And it's exciting. I told the staff this as well. I have a renewed sort of sense of passion for what next year is going to look like. It's very exciting. But there are a lot of changes and people are going to have to sort of be a little bit flexible as we implement some of those things. But again, it's all in the name of what's best for the students and for the school. And it aligns with our strategic plan, which actually coincidentally ends in 2027. So this is our last chance to get that in there and make sure we're doing what we have to align with that. All right. So the first thing I just want to talk about is some of the major things that we got in terms of feedback. One of the things that we heard from staff and from parents is that, particularly in our middle grades, there is a lot of concern about how many transitions we have during the day, whether it be students moving from teacher to teacher or moving from teacher to teacher and then going back to that teacher later in the day, or switching which classes they're in, and not having a real consistent schedule to follow. That was a major concern that we wanted to address, particularly how much time kids were spending in the hallway, because it takes a lot of time to get them back into that learning mindset once they're out in the hallway and there's a lot of commotion, which I've definitely seen firsthand since moving upstairs. So that is also a part of the catalyst for really seeing some of these things in person and knowing that we need to do something about it. The other thing that we've heard from parents, and we know this, and it's been part of our mission, it's been part of our goals for the last couple of years, is we still want to make sure we're providing as many hands-on experiential learning opportunities as we possibly can during the school day. And that also means preferably less screen time. So we've heard a lot about that throughout the year. And in all honesty, there's a big push in education, as you may see in the media, for maybe taking a step back with how deeply we have sort of adopted screens in our day-to-day. That's not to say that there will be no screen time. Obviously, our assessments and things like that still have to be online. The state mandates some of these things. So there is a fine balance that we want to sort of come to, but we want to make sure that it's meaningful, that it's educational, that it makes sense for what we're doing for the kids. So that's what we wanted to look at there. And then the third one really has to do more so with our older kids as they get ready for high school, things that we've wanted to hear about, particular electives and things that we want to integrate into the school. But we wanted to increase the amount of choice that students have in those sort of selections, the things that are within their control. So we have really changed the way that we're doing electives and specials for the upper school in grades 5 through 8. And we'll talk about that shortly, but it's also very exciting, as I alluded to at the last meeting. The things that, from that feedback, there were three main things that the committee wanted to make sure that they were addressing. The first is making sure that whatever the schedule looks like, that it's developmentally appropriate for the kids at whatever grade it is that they're in. And if that meant changing the way we do things, I was totally open to that. And I do believe that what we're going to be doing is going to be much better for them across the board. The next one had to do with eliminating fragmentation, having a lot less breaks throughout the day, and changes of directions and changes of mindset and things like that, to give teachers a lot more opportunity to use bigger blocks of time to do things that are more in line with what we're talking about with experiential learning and whatnot. So we wanted to protect that and make that a key facet of the schedule. Was it something I said? It's okay. I'm kidding. All right.
Yeah, she's like, I'm out. Yeah.
One of them's happy to be graduating. Exactly. Yeah. And the last one had to do with student autonomy and giving them selection of being a self-directed learner, as it says in our mission, and we hear about it all the time. All right, so we wanted to really make those things a reality, and these are some of the changes that we're implementing to make that the case. So first and foremost, period times are changing to 50 minutes per period across the board. So right now, if you're not familiar, we actually have two different schedules that we follow for 5th through 8th grade and K to 4, which we've been following, I think, for the last 3 years or so, which worked to some degree, but at the same time, it really limited our opportunity to use some of our resources, such as our specialist teachers who teach upper school and lower school, because there are often conflicts with when they were available. So by making every class period 50 minutes and making that school-wide, that's going to solve, some of those problems. Plus, it gives us larger blocks of time to work with the kids. In addition to that, we're building in 1 minute of passing time between classes. We also have to consider there are fewer periods in the day. So this, combined with the fact that kids actually are going to hear a bell to leave class and hear another bell to get to class, that's going to be a little bit more structured, and that's going to also help. And our school building is not that big that they need more than a minute to get across the hallway. So we landed on 1 minute to not really waste too much time, because then there's a little bit too much idle time in the hallways. But the other thing that comes along with that we've been hearing about for many years is the fact that, we get a lot of complaints that kids don't have enough time for lunch or for recess. So by expanding the period to 50 minutes, that's 10 minutes longer than they're accustomed to. So it's 5 minutes more recess, 5 minutes of lunch, and that'll make a difference too, we believe. So that's across the board. So in order to make that happen, one major thing that's going to change, and parents are going to have to adapt to this, is that the school day is going to start 10 minutes earlier. All right. So the official homeroom start time is going to be 8:20. As it is right now, students report to homeroom at 8:15, but it's sort of a rolling arrival between 8:15 to 8:30. One of the issues that we've seen with that, again, we talk about idle time in the hallways and sort of kids being, I guess, wide open with not really needing to be in a specific place. We don't want that anymore, right? So they can go to home. They're going to get picked up for homeroom at 8:15. The official start time is going to be 8:20. We're going to make that clear to parents. And homeroom is going to be 6 minutes from 8:20 to 8:26. So first period is going to start before the day even started before, which is going to be a shift, but it's going to help. Yes, please.
So the morning assistance and help that's offered by some of the teachers, would that take place between 8 and 8:20?
It would, yeah, 8 or 8 and 8:15 as it does now.
Okay.
That's when we actually have that time available in the schedule as it is, because teachers are contractually supposed to be here at 8.
Okay.
So it's 8 to 8:15.
And when they're late for class, is that already in a discipline? I'm sorry, I'm going ahead.
No, it's fine. I mean, this is going to help with that, because there's going to be an actual passing time and actual bells, so that kids shouldn't be late for class. And yes, we have the discipline code that goes along with that, and that's potentially even being revamped this summer.
Okay.
That Ms. Torres is going to work on as well.
Okay.
In addition, we are going to maintain a PM homeroom. That's going to allow for kids to get back to their homeroom, go to lockers, get their cell phones, because we, again, while we've been doing it for a number of years, the cell phone law is strictly in effect now by the state. So we need to make sure that cell phones are in lockers in the classrooms, and that'll give them time to pick them up and move along to follow the schedule. All right. But yeah, the 8:20 time is something that we're going to really make sure that people understand about, and that'll be very, very clear. So looking at, and I'm going to get more specific into some of these things, but to give you a general idea of how kids' experience is going to look at different grade levels, you'll see that grades K to 3 now, they're going to follow a similar sort of model, and I'll talk more specifically about that in the next couple of slides. Where K to 3, they're all going to be self-contained, where they'll be, working with specialist teachers throughout the week, but they're going to be in a single class with a single teacher for the most part. Grade 4 is a brand new sort of transitional bridge, we're calling it, that we've put together for those kids where there's minimal transition. There's going to be one transition. They'll have 2 different teachers throughout the day, which gives them a little bit of experience for switching around to get ready for that 5th grade middle school experience, without making it entirely fragmented and difficult to organize and everything else. And then finally, grades 5 through 8, they're still going to follow a full rotation, but they're actually going to have more opportunities because we're switching to an A and B day schedule for their core subjects. But overlaid on top of that, they're actually going to have a Monday through Friday schedule for specials and electives, which I'll talk about in other slides. But it's going to take a little bit of time for them to understand what that looks like. And we're working through some of the logistics of scheduling, but it's going to really protect those larger periods of time for our core subjects, but also giving them the opportunity to make those selections and have that choice in what kind of electives that they're taking. All right. So the first thing I'm going to talk about, we're going to work from no real changes are coming in kindergarten, but one of the first changes we are making in first and second grade, and there's been some discussion about this, but to sort of align with the new curriculum that we're adopting, the HMH for ELA specifically, and then, some of the more revised ways that we're doing math, the curriculum itself is more rigorous, right? And it does take a lot more to prepare for and to understand and to be familiar with for the teachers. So in line with that, we've decided that we're actually going to, rather than loop for first and second grade, we're going to be splitting up those into grade level teams. And this is something that we've discussed with the teachers, and it's something that is going to, help to implement these new curricula. But it is something that we've already shared with them. All right. So the expectation with that is that those particular teachers and those teams will have a really fine understanding of the grade level specific curriculum that we're now providing to them, with the understanding that there's still going to be some opportunity for collaboration and things like that, whether it be with trips and whatnot, because I know one of the concerns might be, oh, well, my student's really accustomed to having this teacher. Now they're in second grade. They don't have that teacher anymore. They're still going to be in the same area as well. Right. So there's a lot of communication that goes on, and we're still talking about class sizes of 15, which is something else that is important to note when we talk about the individual experience of the kids. All right. But that's starting with this coming year. We're shifting around some of the teacher teams, and specifics, again, will be shared soon. But that's going to be the model moving forward with the new curriculum and the new schedule. Now for third grade, this is probably the largest shift, because for a number of years now, we've been really departmentalized, where we've had third graders, 8-year-olds who were following more or less a middle school, high school type schedule that requires a whole lot of organization and a whole lot of expectation and things like that. So we're actually moving away from that because of the toll that it's taken on some of these kids developmentally. And in all honesty, I've seen it myself, and just how it sort of reflects in behaviors and issues that we've seen. We are now, I just realized I'm not really looking at this side of the room very much. I'm sorry. But yeah, it's okay. You're just listening. Yeah. But the point that we want to make is that those kids need a home base. Right. And they shouldn't be moving from room to room and whatnot. And it's also going to then give us the opportunity to have these larger protected core subject periods where they're going to have a large block of time that the teacher has some autonomy for implementing what they're going to be doing. And they're not going to feel like they're under the pressure of a strict 40-minute period where they have no other option other than to throw the kid on a computer and get something done that way, or not really dig deeper into a bigger hands-on project. And the biggest change with this as well is that those third grade classes, they're all going to be just 15 students, where we had certain mixed classes and things like that with third and fourth over the year. But they're going to follow the same model as our kindergarten, first and second grade. Yes.
I have a question for those teachers who have been teaching math
Mhm.
for 15 years
Yes.
in third grade, and now they're going to teach all subjects. I obviously know that they're certified to teach all subjects, but are they going to be getting support because they haven't taught,
Absolutely. And I will,
for
and I will tell you that the decisions that we are making or have made as well, in terms of who's going to be teaching what, has taken a lot of that into consideration when it comes into previous experience, what we view as teachers' particular strong suits and things like that. We've been working with everybody here for a long time. But yeah, any sort of support, training, things like that. We made that very clear when we were making this shift, about 2-3 months ago now at this point, in terms of really getting this idea to become a reality. We made that really clear that we're going to be providing whatever support they need and training and things like that. And there's also even going to be a couple of room reconfigurations and moving around to make sure that it makes sense for the flow with our third grade now being split from the fourth grade. So that's what we're doing with third grade. And the other major thing that's going to change for third grade, and I've put it here, I've already purchased the carts. So we're going to have Chromebook carts in third grade and fourth grade, and the Chromebooks are going to stay in school. We're not going to be sending them home with the kids, because it sort of goes along with what we're going to be talking about with reducing the screen time and not being so reliant on it. So that's going to be a major shift for those grades. Next, I want to talk a little bit about what fourth grade is going to look like. So fourth grade, as I mentioned, is going to be a transitional year for our kids who are really in a true elementary sort of scenario, self-contained, moving into a middle school environment. So rather than just throw them in there when they get into fifth grade from just having one teacher and really not having a lot of moving around throughout the day, we decided that for fourth grade, we wanted to split it up into two distinct subject areas. So in the morning, they would have math and science with one teacher. Then they would have lunch with an extended lunch period, a little extra time, and refresh, reset, and whatnot, and then come back in the afternoon and have ELA and social studies or vice versa. This way, there's going to be two homeroom classes for fourth grade, and they're gonna travel together in the morning and the afternoon. So they're not all over the place, but it does give them a little bit of a taste of that independence and that grown up sort of moving along from class to class feel. So this is a hybrid of sorts, but it's also, still erring on the side of less transitions for these kids. But as I mentioned before, those kids will also have their Chromebooks staying in school in their homeroom overnight. Obviously, for that grade, there may be opportunities for them to take it home for particular assignments and things like that if it's relevant, but it's not going to be a true one-to-one where they're bringing it home and bringing it back like we have in the upper school. Okay. So now the other major changes that we're experiencing here is with our fifth through eighth grade. All right, so this is a huge shift in what the schedule looks like for some of us who have been here for a really long time. And I said this in the staff meeting. When I first started teaching, we actually had a 6-day rotating schedule. It was an A through F schedule. So this is sort of a throwback to that, where it gives us more time with the same calendar. But rather than making it that complicated, we are just going to have an A-B schedule. So there's 2 different days that students have to remember their schedule and follow. We've already talked about how we're going to put A or B on the TV screens in the hallways, include it in the announcements and things like that. And it'll be outlined on the calendar itself when we release, the revised school calendar. But the real idea of this is that students and the teachers in that case, they will only have 8 periods throughout the day, one of them being lunch. With the other time, they're going to have larger blocks of time to work with their core subject teachers. So every day they're going to have at least 1 period of ELA, and then the following day they would have 2 periods back to back of ELA, a larger block. So it'll rotate day to day, so it's not the same. And what we're asking the teachers to do in those times is a lot of the work that we have been doing in much smaller periods throughout the day, where a student may see a teacher in the morning, do something else, and then end up back with them later in the day. Which we wanted to get away from because, again, we don't need all that extra transition, and it could be done in a larger block. So things like the assessments and the interventions and all that stuff, that'll take place in a larger block of time that the teacher will have control over. Same thing would go for science. Same thing would go for math. And in social studies, it's going to be 1 period a day, but that also then allows us to give them 1 full period of phys ed in an A day or a B day, which will then equate to at least 2 to 3 phys ed periods throughout the week. And those periods are 50 minutes long. The mandate is 150 minutes for health and PE. So we'll definitely be meeting the requirement for those grades as well when we factor in the elective periods, which one of them has to be health. So it's going to provide much larger blocks of time for those teachers to dig deep and provide hands-on learning, other experiences and things like that they really don't normally get with a 40-minute period. So that's a really positive change that we're seeing for our 5th through 8th grade. And the teachers that we have spoken to seem very excited about it. So the other major part that comes with this, so I mentioned the A-B day schedule for the core subjects, electives and specials. And actually just in that case, they will fall into a Monday through Friday schedule. So every day, I think it's like 3rd period, 7th and 8th grade, or 2nd period is going to have their specials elective period, no matter what day it is. And then later in the day, I think it's a 7th period. The same thing applies to 5th and 6th grade. So through every Monday and Friday, they're gonna have 1 health, which they have to have, it's mandated, one Spanish class, which also we want to make sure goes year round, because we had some talks about making specials, just once per trimester, but then we talked about retention and making sure that Spanish is something that they do all year long, so it stays with them. Plus, it's also in the strategic plan that specifically we want to make sure our Spanish is on par with the local district. So we included that as one of the mandatory classes that you have during that block. Now, the other 3 classes are going to be open to selection, to choice, to self-directed learning. And in doing that, we're going to be able to provide an opportunity for band, an opportunity for chorus, an opportunity for theater, an opportunity for dance, an opportunity for graphic arts, an opportunity for ceramics, an opportunity for pottery, digital arts, things like that. And then there are other things that we've got some extra teachers who are available that they would also be able to offer classes that might fall into things that they're interested in, like whether it be sewing or knitting and things like that, where we've got teachers who are into those kinds of things.
Or dance.
And movement and PE, yeah, there's going to be also a physical sort of class that's also available for kids who would much rather do that than take one of the arts classes. And along with that, because of the way that the schedule works, we have pull-out opportunities throughout the day for instrumental music and a morning period of band that we'll also be doing once a week for kids who make that selection. And that's all possible because of the fact that this period is now locked in the day. And that's across the board for 5-6s and the 7-8s. So it's very exciting. The logistics behind this about how we're going to do course selections and all that stuff, we're working through that. But the intention and the expectation is that we are going to have some way to make these selections before the school year starts so that we can hit the ground running in September. And it might be obviously outside of our regular real-time thing, where it might be different forums and whatnot that we share with the parents. But again, the intention is to communicate as much of this as possible so they know what to expect, and to have as much of that settled in the background before the school year starts. So those are the electives and specials and how that's going to work for upper school. Yes.
Did any of the additional elective offerings require us to hire new or?
Nope. No, and that's again, we're dealing with limited resources. We're dealing with only a certain number of people, but by giving them 5 periods in a week, because and they're not teaching everyone. It's only those who are electing to take it with a certain cap, obviously due to space and whatnot. But that then gives the students, increased opportunity, increased choice. And then it gives the teachers the opportunity as well to actually be available to teach those classes without needing to hire additional staff. So it's really an awesome model. It's very exciting. It's very different. It's very different. Revolutionary. Yes. I didn't put it in the presentation, but I know I said it at the last meeting. Yes. It's a major change to what we're going to do with that. So the only other things I wanted to just highlight before moving on is that these changes do align with our strategic plan. There are actually 5 goals in our strategic plan. If you check it out, it's online. One of them has to do with 21st century skills, and the fact that we're allowing project-based learning, and that's a major focus of what we wanted to talk about in the strategic plan there. As far as culture and climate, it is going to hopefully have a great improvement on the physical climate for the students here in school. They're not going to be all over the place and need to take their books and computers from class to class as frequently. So it should be, calmer, safer, and stable lower school environment. And that's really the expectation and the hope for the kids' sake and for the teachers' sake. As far as global awareness goes, obviously we're sticking with our world language and our visual performing arts and the elective tracks that go along with that. That's going to give us an opportunity to do more expansive sort of deep dives into some of these global things that we do when we talk about electives and experiential learning. And then finally, there's a whole big piece about rigor and academic achievement and student achievement in the strategic plan. And by providing these larger blocks of time, by focusing on this, by changing the curriculum, making these changes, and sort of raising the bar for our kids, but giving them the tools and the daily schedule that will allow them to do that, we're really looking at making sure that we're putting them in the best possible position to do the best that they possibly can. So that's how it aligns with the strategic plan. And then the last thing just talks about the mission itself. And that it's not just what the day looks like, but it's really by changing the way that we've got the time. It helps with their psychological development, and we're being nurturing, which also is a big part of the environment that we want to prepare, and we talk about it in the mission. And this really lives up to that, so it's a major undertaking. It is a big deal. We're changing a lot, but I'm excited about it. And I think it's going to be a really positive thing for the school, and I appreciate everybody's cooperation and help with it, and we're all in it together. All right.
So, I always have to say something.
Please, yes.
Does anyone else want to say anything before I say something? No, because it doesn't always have to be me.
For the last time, sure, it can be.
I just want to say to everybody who's listening, sitting here, and I've been very reflective of this position, right? But sitting here as a board member, we hear a lot of feedback. We're privy to a lot of concerns that parents have, but our role is really not to do the nuts and bolts of every single aspect of what the building is doing. It's really about making sure that information goes to our school leader, and he figures out the best way to execute that. So listening to all the feedback that we heard about Chromebooks, listening to us wanting to stay up to technology, aligning it to the strategic plan, aligning it to the mission statement, aligning it to his goals that you guys proposed for next year. That's where the work happens. So I want everyone listening to know that all the information throughout the year may have been in chats or may have been in side conversations. It's not that it was never heard, and it's not that it was never brought to the level it had to be. It was. It's just that things take time, and there's a certain position we all hold in the development. So you killed it with the graphics, first of all, and the statements. I'm nervous about my survey coming up because the graphics are not as cool. And it's just exciting to feel revived. It feels like a rejuvenation. And I think that as things are shifting, I think this is going to be a really great thing. One of the things that I always say about charter is well, they loop grades, and that's something really cool. And every person I tell is like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. But, in the proof that you gave, the data that you gave, the research behind your decisions, I think is exactly how we make decisions here. So it's really, really nice to see. Although I will miss the looping, I think that the way you presented it was really smart and strategic. So I'm excited to watch you guys execute the new revolutionary mission. Okay, that was awesome.
Thank you.
This is the best. Okay, what's next? It's me. Okay. So we held a spring retreat. We have a new NJSBA rep. She's amazing. She was incredible. We went through our ethics training. We seem to revisit ethics often. It's something that as a board, we think is really important to stay, abreast of and fresh. She also gave us some really good strategies on handling certain issues we have as a board, and how we work with the community and staying in our role. So it was really, really beneficial. It was nice to do an in-person. We haven't done an in-person in at least 4 years. That's one of the things that COVID did for us, is made us not available in person. Everything's virtual. But to thank all the board members that came out and actually sat in this room and we did it together. It was really, really fun. And I think she gave us a lot of information that's going to help the new board going forward. The next thing I'm going to do is the survey results. The surveys, I'm only presenting parents and teachers today. The reason why is because we had some miscommunication with the student survey. So your new board will be presenting that to you in July. It will be done, and I'm happy to compile it if you like. But as of July 1st, so deuces. But so we'll talk about the student survey, even though I have to say, just with Ralph's presentation, it was a lot. I think you even had students. Did you have students present in developing the master schedule?
Not the master schedule particularly. It was more reflective with the staff.
With the previous and your previous student surveys.
Well, looking at the surveys, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so I hear the recess, I hear the lunch, I hear the desire for new electives, I hear them wanting to have some social emotional development time. Discipline policy, all of that is in your plans for next year. So that's really exciting. So I know that it usually stays consistent throughout the year. They complain about lunch, and they complain about recess, and they complain about time and wanting to hang out. So I think that a lot of that was already addressed, but we'll look at the results when we get them. So we could
Which one do you
start
wanna do
with,
first?
we could do parent.
Okay.
So, and I have done extensive work in the past. I did just enough, to be very honest. So this is in comparison, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. This is in comparison to the last year's survey, and the growth that we have made, so it's pretty good still. Okay, so go ahead. Yeah, I'm out. Oh, no, so some things aren't lined up
Some's got
properly.
formatted,
Okay,
yeah.
so we recorded active participation and an increase. It's up. This represents 36% participation this year compared to 32% last year.
Is that
So it's a
109?
4%
Is
increase.
it
Yeah, all the
95?
numbers are
All right,
wrong.
all right, sir.
Just ignore the numbers. So the scores featured on the following statistical comparison slides reflect the total combined strongly agree and agree selections. For slides reporting rated experiences, results represent the combined percentage of parents scoring 3 or 4 on a 1 to 4 scale. This presentation delivers direct community data without external commentary, capturing the precise voice of our families. All right, so our areas of growth that our parents highly praised were, they commended for the timely administration responses when families contacted TCCS. In the past, probably 3 years back, that was an area that we've been working really hard on, so it was great to see. Child safety and comfort, there was high marks on the safety protocols, fire lockdown drills, and default locked doors. Enrichment and highlights immense success with the spring musical and theatrical productions, as well as the spelling bees. Reading and ELA milestones, notable parent pride in lower grade reading fluency and improvements. So a lot of the work that our chairs have been doing has been noticed. And some of the things that we still have to focus on are they're always asking for more consistency with the discipline policy. That's something that we already just heard that Ms. Torres will be working on. I think you work on it every summer. Multiple calls to reduce passive television use and balance device reliance with hands-on learning, which was just discussed in the new rolled out plan. Middle school activities, there's a need for dedicated age-appropriate middle school clubs, sports, and social spaces. That was also just addressed. And you didn't see this
No,
before you
no, I
made all these plans. So that just shows you how the feedback does get back to our leadership team. Recommendations to improve lunch vendor menu options and elevate bathroom cleanliness. So 84.4%, which is is 1.4% up from last year, feel there is an adult at TCCS that their child can trust. We also have an increase in the high academic expectations, feel the school sets high expectations for their child. It was 66% last year. And a clear goal of communication, 78.9%, which is up from last year, believe learning expectations are clearly communicated. Yeah, everything's up. 80% feel that they're receiving meaningful feedback from their teachers. This was 78% last year. 79.8% of families feel that they believe their child is academically prepared for the next grade. This is up from last year at 75%. And we have another up 2.6% with the quality of the classroom teacher, being satisfied or highly satisfied. These are all our babies, by the way. I found these all on our sites and backpack notices and all that stuff. So 89.9% of the families feel that their child is comfortable and safe with the school facilities. This is also up. Facilities cleanliness, they confirm that TCCS school premises are clean and well kept. That's up 2.2%. And up 3.2% is the fair discipline enforcement. State that school discipline is handled fairly and equitably. We always want our numbers higher. We always want to be better. So I think the work that continues to happen with the discipline policy is great. Next one. So student enrichment and activities. 81.7% feel that their peers receive equivalent options and opportunities. This is up 2.7%. Activities, the variation of activities within and outside the classroom is up 3.6. Board metrics indicate a strong parental spotlight on Beetlejuice musical performance.
That's the wrong one, right? That's SpongeBob?
Yeah, this year was SpongeBob.
Yeah.
It's all of them.
Sorry, SpongeBob.
The picture's right.
Musical performance, yeah, I did the right picture, the wrong thing. Physical theater collaborations and boosting the school's enrichment score. The frequency of interactions, so the percentage of parents reporting interactions at a frequency of at least one time per month. I'll let you guys see that. They're all ascending trends. Okay. Any questions? You can stop me. When it comes to the evaluations, they were talking about, again, all increases. We looked at the quality of the specially trained teachers, the level of assistance received from extra homework support, school communication and efficiency and transparency, resources to understand how to support learning needs, opportunities provided for direct parent involvement, overall academic education quality this year, and the opportunities to interact with the broader TCCS community. So the qualitative insights on safety, parents expressed satisfaction with locked front doors and default security settings. They also had a strong appreciation when lockdowns and fire drills are systematically updated, and the response speed is immediate, and they helped follow up on safety issues. Some concerns is hallway drill clarification, better prepare students for procedures when caught outside of classroom walls, gyms, and bathrooms. This is something that we've had kind of come up the past, I would say, 4 years. There is some information that is shared with the students, but can't be shared with families, that keeps the security strong. So just keeping that in mind going forward is that parents will not have all the information on the security protocols to keep our babies safe. Drop-off safety, address potential vulnerability in open drop-off parking areas with consistent staff presence. That is something that is definitely advanced this year, but there's always more to do. And increase police and responder coordination to host joint student assemblies. I think the next year show up, if you guys do it, we would need some help in the street.
Yeah.
Okay, so the key milestones, so some of the parents' feedback was, my daughter can read. It's incredible to see how her confidence has grown. All staff members have been incredibly supportive. The teachers feel like a genuine extension of our family, wanting our child to succeed. There's a strong focus on literacy outcomes, VPA theater production collaboration, departmental transitioning success, and proactive parent-teacher messaging. So some areas to focus on for next year would be our enrichment programs, which Ralph is already on it, expand after-school programs, academic sports leagues, music programs, hands-on science activities, and middle school specific clubs. Academic challenge, introduce more robust STEM and STEAM projects, decrease unstructured screen time, and challenge advanced learners with focused group work. Communication, streamline parent updates, synchronize WhatsApp notices, and establish mid-trimester progress report consistently across all grade levels. That's it. So all good stuff.
That's a great school.
That's a great school. Okay, now the staff one. Okay. So this, again, is in comparison to last year's data. We looked at quantitative and qualitative data. I found another typo. So evaluating progress safely. This presentation delivers data directly from the annual staff survey, illustrating performance shifts without institutional bias or commentary beyond direct synthesis. To support goal formation and official evaluations, results are compiled here. Scores denote combined strongly agree and agree responses. As standard protocol, individual administrator figures remain strictly confidential to the leadership team, optimizing professional trust and internal development. So our leadership strengths are exceptional metrics that reflect clear communication and performance metrics. Staff feel evaluations are carried out with profound understanding of classroom achievement. We see an incredible surge in board communication clarity, positive school culture, and standardized enforcement of student discipline. Areas to focus for next year would be to highlight proactive notice on scheduling adjustments, alleviating the profile and inclusion of classroom aides, and hallway supervision. So in speaking about the scheduling adjustments, it was just specific to when they're notified and how they're notified of a scheduled change within that day. Okay, so these are, it's growth. So the TCCS board communicates a clear vision for the school. That's up 33%. The TCCS board encourages open communication, up 24%. The TCCS board prioritizes student achievement and needs, up 27%. And TCCS leadership prioritizes student achievement and needs, up 27%.
Way to go out on top. That's good.
This is a great meeting. Everything's positive. What a way to go out. Okay, so supports for the strong special ed programs at 90%. Encourage staff collaboration was at 89%. Strong positive and school culture was at 83%. This was our baseline of last year was 58%. So this is a major increase. We did make some changes to some of the questioning, and you'll see that. So areas of strong performance, there's a warm culture shift, highly praised as student-centered, inclusive, and having experienced and substantial cultural lift over the past 2 years. Supportive camaraderie, notable mutual trust, collaboration, and cooperative teamwork across certified and auxiliary departments. Project-based focus, celebrated for giving students deep-rooted, real-world cultural context and civic connection. So again, the same, accessible to schedule changes are needed. There was a recommendation for a PPA notification under the memo. So whenever, the information goes out that there's a sudden change in the schedule for that day, there's some type of subject line that goes to all the teachers that teaches them to, something's gonna change in my day, I have to look at that. Working in a school, I get it, because sometimes teachers don't have time to read a full email. So just, bullet
Subject
pointing, that there's a change. More inclusivity in decision-making, provide stronger transparency and classroom teacher input when reshaping student schedules. Hallway, I can't talk today. Hallway safety and conduct, monitor conduct issues and ensure hallway presence, particularly on the lower floors. All of this is being addressed through the new schedule presentation. PD programs help to improve my instruction. This went up 33%, so thank you to the chairs. I have time, tools, and training to use data effectively. That's up 9%. Planning time with grade level colleagues is effective. That's up 7%. And I have adequate planning across grade levels. This is our new baseline matrix, which is 61%. There was some discussion on articulation. One of the things that I took from your scheduling is that your 7/8 teachers are all going to be on prep at the same time, and your 5/6s are going to be all on prep at the same time. So that would definitely assist in the articulation, which was something that the teachers did highlight. Staff meetings scheduled appropriately, 91%. Staff meetings are productive and useful, 83%. Support functions trained and resourced, 83%. And then the classroom aides are valued and supported as little down. So there was a couple of comments on just their job descriptions, their roles, their expectations, things like that. There was some comments as well in the staff meetings that it's usually to present changes in schedule or things that are changing, but there's not a lot of time for team building and cross collaboration. So that's something that the teachers also wanted to see. Performance management and resource, we are up 8% in the area of understanding evaluation criteria and utilizing that for their performance. I'm evaluated fairly and consistently, that's up 8%. Evaluator is aware of student progress and growth, up 3%. Staff provided all IEP and 504 plans, up 4%. TCCS provides a robust and advanced technologies resources, that's up 20%. It's also something to note that there was some feedback in regards to the tiered evaluation systems, mostly procedural, and the 504s and things like that. So this is something I think that we've been talking about for quite some time as we were developing the G&T program and the protocols of how to get into certain areas. So the staff did really show that there's still some work to be done there. So work experience feedback. Staff voiced appreciation for administration, highlighting them as responsive, approachable, and visible in their daily classrooms. The front office support, exceptional. Continuous praise of their warmth, organization, and professionalism of the front office administration. Observation uniformity, I can't talk. Some staff requested a more uniform pacing, a formal walkthrough, evaluations to distribute professional growth feedback. And then interdisciplinary unity, desire to reduce grade level silos and construct strong cross-grade alignment programs, which is something that you've already planned for. Okay, so strategic priorities, school safety and conduct, establish strict uniform hallway expectations, formalize and enforce standardized dress code guidelines and dismissal protocol to eliminate hallway congestion, protect instructional integrity, standardize advanced schedule notifications via a dedicated, whatever you guys decide, PPA system was recommended, protecting planned lesson times, and classroom aid support, prioritize professional inclusion, formulate standardized training guidelines, and clear integration pathways for co-teachers and classroom mates. And that's it. Okay. Yeah, go right ahead.
That was great. No, thank you. I mean, I will say that in addition to this sort of higher level view of some of the responses, I do get all the individual responses, and the narratives and things like that don't necessarily go into this. So, we do know whatever concerns do exist. In addition to this, we formulate those into our own goals. And I want people to understand that too, that's where this data goes. I want to encourage people to always participate in our surveys, to always provide feedback, because that's how we know what's going on. Everything from the scheduling stuff to parent feedback, teacher feedback, especially. The changes that we make and the direction that we move in really does come from a lot of that. So it's important. So I want to thank everybody for their participation. And thank you for compiling and sharing. And I'm sorry to hear that it was, not to hear, I'm sorry that it was your last one you have to do. But you've done quite a few.
Yes, I will pass it on.
But that was great.
Mr. Kettle has a question.
I just wanted to know, for the tabulation of the data, does the full board participate in that, or is it a committee, or what is that?
So it is a function of governance. Governance right now is currently developing the actual survey. So they look at it each year. It should be a compilation and collaborative effort of full governance. Unfortunately, I think I'm just a doer. So like the past 3 years, I've been compiling it on my own. In the past, it was taking me up to 7 hours. So thank you, AI. But it's pretty strenuous. Last year, we tried to divvy it up. But in the end, it was hard. And I tried to make this deadline. So I took it again. But going forward, it should be a function of the whole governance committee. But all board members do have access to the results and see all of the information. And then what was happening in the past was through the evaluation of Mr. Gallo, we took all of this data and all of the anecdotals, and we would sit and review that with Mr. Gallo so that he can not only speak to some of the feedback, but also develop his goals according to what was presented. Yes.
Did you say what percentage of people participated?
And did I not
For
put
the
that in the beginning?
Families,
it was
Families,
38%.
But the staff, I was
That was not
I don't
on
think
there.
it was on there, but I can do that. I can get that to you. I think it was honestly less than last year, but don't quote me on that.
because last year.
Yeah, I let it go. I'm sorry.
It's
I
okay.
didn't retain that.
I was just wondering if I missed it.
Yeah, I will let you know. And I will add it actually to what we share. I'll add it onto the slide. Yes, Ms. Hadnot.
I just want to say, if anyone in the room or watching, that if you want change, you need to make it noted that you want change on the topic of surveys. So maybe a suggestion for next year could be to just have like either monthly or bi-monthly surveys to come in contact with the students more, because the students want change, they just don't know how to fully express it. So if we give them a platform to express their thoughts, they more actively.
I think as a board too, we've had conversations similar to that, that we were thinking of doing like a 2 time a year survey so that it allows time within the same academic year to make those changes. But that's on the new incoming board to decide how often they'd like to compile.
This is a public opinion, not my hat that I'm sitting here with. Mr. Gallo, with the master scheduling committee, we filled out the scheduling survey at like a dedicated time that all staff had to like sit and do it, and we got a lot of.
We had 100% participation. Yeah.
So maybe moving forward with the staff survey, that is something that could be the same concept that we apply.
So what's interesting is that I was under the impression, because in the past we have allowed that time to occur. So maybe this year with scheduling or something went wrong, but we have in the past, correct me if I'm wrong, allowed you like on a PD day.
Yes, there has been, and I think there's a dichotomy between opinions, because
Okay.
there are some people that would rather do it outside of the
Yeah.
building because they feel that they don't want to say whatever they have to say. But just an idea to increase engagement, because the scheduling survey, we all sat there, we were done in 20 minutes and everyone
And it
was
was done.
Okay, so maybe that's like a faculty meeting of just completing a survey. That would be a good idea. Okay, and if people want to hide in their rooms or something, they can. All right, thank you. Yes.
My comment is that sometimes surveys, it all depends on what kind of side you kind of look up at, or what is happening, especially for parents or for the students, what is happening during that period. It's like when you're having your work performance review, depends on like what kind of review you received that day. Sometimes having things only on the surveys, not that the surveys don't count, or maybe there's an issue apparent with the school or with the teacher, or maybe something good happened. Like it doesn't have to only be negative.
Right.
Sometimes it all depends. So like instead of just having it only on the survey, there should be a way that can be expressed. Because sometimes we don't want our name to go, even though we know it's kind of confidential. But you want to say something that's not gonna be, I don't know, I'm kind of record or what have you. So it is a way to, there should be a way to also kind of see and get a feedback from the parents or the teacher.
Like a link.
That
Like
was
anonymously.
anonymous.
Put like a something on a website, a link or something.
Oh, like, like,
What is it?
Like
It's like anonymously.
Yeah.
The other thing is though, it does take time, right? So like, I think having it at a meeting is good, but like, it takes time to do these thoughtfully. So you don't want to just be like, when you're done, you go home, then you're
Yeah.
not gonna get like.
I think the biggest takeaway that I've learned is that the levels of communication are really valuable. And so like if a parent has something to share, it should never truly be anonymous, because if it's impacting their child or all children, it should be something that they could follow up and call back and see exactly what the problem was, ask follow-up questions. One thing I've learned is that a lot of people want to go, I don't want to say the top, but they want to go way past everybody along the way to make that change. But it really has to start with the classroom teacher or the person, and then, this building principal, and then Ralph, and then board. So like, and the reason why that is because it keeps the integrity of making a difference for everybody. So I like the idea, because I know for the students, we have an anonymous way for them to communicate things. But I wonder how that would pigeonhole administration and the leadership by not being able to follow up and not being able to a lot of people will say a lot of things. And even now when it's not anonymous, right? People don't follow that mode of communication. So I get that, it's valid, but I think in speaking to the mode and the feeling that people are having, I think that would best be addressed through having more than one survey period. Because what your issues are in the fall may not be your same issues in the spring. So thank you for that. Anybody else? Yes, Robbie.
Have you considered looking at a different platform instead of Google Forms? And
I've never.
Yeah, because I think if there's a platform where you can track how many come in, you'll be able to track who has it. Like, they won't tell you the name, but they'll tell you, okay, like certain percent of people have it, and they'll send a blast to those specific people who haven't for the survey. And then,
Right. I mean, I guess similar to like our election,
Yeah.
like
yeah,
software, right? That's an interesting
Well,
point.
I know there'll be some cost incurred from
Right.
it, but then you probably get more survey results.
Right, of course, yeah. Yeah, something like a Survey Monkey
Or
or
reminding the people that haven't done it, and then the people who have
Oh,
done
the
it,
board
they're not
needs
gonna
that.
get annoying.
Yeah. I will say, right.
Board
That's
needs
an
that.
excellent point, though. I mean, right. We send these blasts out, and
It's on
there's
the blast.
there's a minor there's a minor uptick then, but that's it. Yeah. Because
think
it's all those who already do it that are engaged enough to actually read it and want to do it. So
Yeah.
that's a good point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's true.
And I mean, to that point, as Mr. Keitel mentioned before, the fact that we knew specifically how everybody felt about the schedule, that really helped to drive where we went with this and feel very confident about it, because we know that it was good data. So that's a good point.
And also, if there's a possibility to do like a small touch-based survey every quarter, and then if you just get like, it could just be open-ended,
Right.
one question, if there's something that we need to address, because then if we get that feedback in in the first quarter, then you could work on fixing it.
And it doesn't build,
throughout the
right.
year, instead of waiting till the end of the year, you're like, oh, the whole year.
Right.
Yeah, it definitely helps for planning the next year. But I think honestly, like Ralph does take everything and try to execute a solution pretty quickly. So I think it would just help him overall
Right.
to, delegate and do whatever changes and discuss early on so that it's just even better. We could always be better. And I think new board, new ideas, so let's see what happens, Robbie.
Now, before we move on to the election results, I think now would be an appropriate time to thank our outgoing president. Personally, I've worked with Xiomara as president longer than I've worked with any other president in this role for more than a decade. It has been an absolute pleasure, and it's great working with somebody who encourages you and makes you want to do better, and feel confident and feel like they're doing a good job. So I appreciate everything that you've done over your time on the board. I appreciate everything personally, and thank you.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure.
All right. It's okay.
And you're not going.
Yeah, she's not going that far.
I still got one.
They
I
never
still
do.
got
Yeah.
one.
Well, she called me during the Friends meeting the other day, and I said, "Oh, she'll be sitting with you guys in a couple months." So
I just need to. Yeah, I just have to digest. Like, honestly, like I don't even know people keep asking, "What are you doing next?" I'm like, nothing. I might be a class parent. That's exciting. My little one has always said, "I just want you to be a normal mom." So where my older one is like all for it, like yes, go, but the little one's like, just be at school when I'm at school, and that's it. So we'll see what happens. But thank you. It's been an honor to work with you guys, and I have to say this current board is awesome. I've had so many relationships outside of just these seats with these people, and the board work doesn't just stop here. We're always strategically talking about something or planning something or sharing feedback. It's been an honor to watch and learn from other people and then to pass on to a new board. It's been amazing. And I just want to challenge the public to just understand our roles. I think that's one of the hardest things for a board member. You want to come in, you want to make change, you want to do all these things, but we are very limited in what we can do. But we do make a big impact. So it takes a lot of time. I look back at the 7 years and, she was 6. I mean, now she's stealing my clothes. There was no gym. There was no PBIS system. There was no full-blown stage at that time, I don't even think. There were many different staff members. There wasn't this camaraderie amongst us, this great relationship I think that we have with leadership. There were just so many things that I was able to see to flourishing, but it took a really long time to get there. So to the new board members, whoever you are, we'll find out soon. Just make sure you know your avenue and stay in it. Protect the integrity of this board because they are credible. And you joining on would make a big difference and a beautiful impact. But it's really important to stay in the lane of our role, which is really, really hard to do sometimes because you just want to jump in. We're givers, and we're volunteers and we want to do everything, but you can't. But you could be amazing with the vision and support and, try to help and facilitate. But at the end of the day, your leaders are going to execute what they're going to execute. So it's been an honor and a pleasure. Thank you guys on the board. You're incredible. And I have loved working with you and we've done really, really cool things. And I hope that it continues and I'll be watching or listening. I might come. I don't know yet, but I'll be listening.
Maybe after you.
Right. But if there's anything you guys ever need, I'm always here and I'll try to make sure I turnkey everything properly to the new board members.
thank you. Well said.
Thank you. So excited.
Okay.
My last roll call.
Are you ready for this election result first?
Oh, yeah. Oh, no. Yes. I'm like, let's go. Roll call.
Okay. So this year we had 26% of eligible voters voted. All right, which compared to last year, it was 30% of eligible voters. So, but there were 138 voters, which again is 26% of eligible, which is the 533 that we had sent out. And, okay, and here are the results. Oh, are you kidding me? That's not- Okay. All right. So with 27% of the vote, Ravi.
Put in those surveys.
19% of the vote, Brittany. And 17% of the vote, Alexa. So thank you to all of our candidates.
Yes.
We appreciate it. We had a great slate this year. The forum was phenomenal. It was really, really well done. Everybody made some excellent points, and we appreciate everybody for their stepping up, because sometimes we have to really beg for candidates. So the fact that we had 6 spots for 3 open with no incumbents running is a big deal. So thank you all. And if you didn't win, regardless, I do encourage you to stay involved. And definitely help keep making this place a positive community school that we are.
Yeah, it was amazing. The candidates, we did like this, the governance committee does a vetting where we get to meet everybody a little bit before they go out to the forum. All of the candidates were incredible. And it was a real race because we had 6 for 3 spots. So that's amazing. It speaks to our community. So thank you to everybody who participated and who voted.
And these results will be posted on the website later this evening. And anyone who will be joining the board, I'll be sending communication as far as the process for getting your accounts and everything set up, because our first meeting is going to be July 1st. Okay. All right.
I have to pass on like a bunch of stuff before.
Absolutely. Yeah.
All right. Making sure it doesn't get lost.
Should I present the
Yeah.
resolutions? Okay. So tonight we have 14 resolutions. The first of those being the budget summary, which are all the bills that we've paid since the last meeting. We've got Tom's SBA financial reports from April 2026. We've got the 26-27 board meeting calendar, which outlines when we'll be having our meetings. And one slight change is that we're going to be moving to Tuesdays for the majority of our meetings, which works out particularly well for our board attorney, and that should hopefully avoid less conflicts when it comes to scheduling issues. Next is the fiscal questionnaire, which we have to submit every single year to the Department of Ed. It's something that charter schools and Renaissance schools have to do. That was submitted today, actually. The technology support contract, that is a renewal. The student information system contract, which is also a renewal for our real-time student information system. Our legal services contract, which we're renewing with our board attorney. The joint purchasing agreement with Region 5, which we talked about at the last meeting, that was for this past year. This is a renewal of that agreement for the coming year. The auditor contract for the most recent contract for the most recent audit year. The HVAC maintenance contract for Inline to do their quarterly maintenance of our units and make sure that everything's working right. The board will be acknowledging a resignation of a staff member. The personnel appointments for this summer, which are mainly at this point just our summer custodians and anyone who's moving rooms, and what we're going to be compensating them for that. In July, we'll be doing more of the other summer work with curriculum writing and some of the electives and stuff for next year. There's a personnel appointment for a new teacher for next year, our new phys ed teacher. And then finally, closed session for you to all talk about me.
Oh my goodness. Any public comment regarding resolutions?
What are you talking about now?
We have to evaluate him.
Yeah.
Any public comment in general? No. Okay.
No?
Um,
Okay, that worked. Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Start what? Sally, we're still in a meeting. Okay, Resolution 2606-01, budget summary. Be it resolved that the budget summary for May 13th, 2026 to June 15th, 2026, total amount $353,149.24 be approved. Moved by? Valeo Jesse moves. Second? Carter seconds. Any questions or comments from the board? Avino,
Yes.
Beck,
Yes.
Carter,
Yes.
Lazoo, Valeo Justy, had not yes, resolution carries. Resolution 2606-02, the SBA financial reports, April 2026. Be it resolved that the Board of Trustees approve the SBA financial reports for April 2026. Moved by Valeo Justy, moves. Second. Avino seconds. Any questions or comments from the board? Avino,
Yes.
Beck,
Yes.
Carter,
Yes.
Lazoo,
Yes.
Vallejo Justy,
Yes.
had not yes, resolution carries. I'm just remembering when I couldn't say your last name.
Mhm.
Remember that.
Resolution 2606-03, 2627 board meeting calendar. Be it resolved that the TCCS Board of Trustees approve the calendar. So just so you guys know, it's moving to Tuesdays. Okay, moved by Lazoo, move. Second. Beck seconds. Any questions or comments from the board? Avino,
Yes.
Beck,
Yes.
Carter,
Yes.
Lazoo,
Yes.
Vallejo Justy,
Yes.
had not yes, resolution carries. Resolution 2606-04, 2026 fiscal questionnaire. Be it resolved that the TCCS Board of Trustees approve the submission of the 2026 Charter School Fiscal Questionnaire to the New Jersey Department of Education. Moved by
Beck.
Beck, moves. Second. Lazoo, right? Who was that? It was you? Vallejo Justy, sorry. Any questions or comments from the board? Avino,
Yes.
Beck,
Yes.
Carter,
Yes.
Lazoo,
Yes.
Vallejo Justy, had not yes, resolution carries. Resolution 2606-05, technology support contract. Be it resolved that the TCCS Board of Trustees approve the attached agreement with Complete Computer Solutions of New Jersey to provide technology support for the 2026-2027 school year. Moved by
Yeah.
Avino, moves. Second. Lazoo seconds. Any questions or comments from the board? Avino,
Yes.
Beck,
Yes.
Carter,
Yes.
Lazoo,
Yes.
Vallejo Justy,
Yes.
had not yes, resolution carries. Resolution 2606-06. SIS contract, be it resolved that the TCCS Board of Trustees affirm the attached renewal agreement with Harris Education Solutions, real-time for students information system services for the 2026-2027.
I wrote that out for you one last time
Thank
too, by
you.
the way.
Remember, no acronyms. Moved by. Thanks, Ralph.
Yeah.
Zoom moves, Avino seconds. Any questions or comments from the board? Avino,
Yes.
Beck,
Yes.
Carter,
Yes.
Lazoo,
Yes.
Vallejo Justy, had not yes, resolution carries. Resolution 2606-07, legal services contracts. Be it resolved that the TCCS Board of Trustees approve the attached agreement with Cleary Giacobi Alfreri Jacobs LLC to provide legal services for the 2026-2027 school year. Moved by? I don't know. Carter moves, Vallejo Justy seconds.
So Richie, who wrote it?
No, that's Mark, yeah.
This,
These are different ones, they're special regulations.
any questions or comments from the board other than that? No? Avino,
Yes.
Beck,
Yes.
Carter,
Yes.
Lazoo,
Yes.
Vallejo Justy,
Yes.
had not yes, resolution carries. Resolution 2606-08, joint purchasing agreement. Be it resolved that the TCCS Board of Trustees approve the attached joint purchasing agreement with Region 5. Moved by? Lazoo moves. Second.
Beck.
Beck seconds. Any questions or comments from the board? Avino,
Yes.
Beck,
Yes.
Carter,
Yes.
Lazoo,
Yes.
Vallejo Justy,
Yes.
had not yes, resolution carries. Resolution 2606-09, auditor agreement. Be it resolved that the TCCS Board of Trustees approve the attached agreement with Samuel Klein and Company to complete the 2025-2026 audit. Moved by Vallejo Justy, moves. Second. Avino seconds. Any questions or comments from the board? Avino,
Yes.
Beck,
Yes.
Carter,
Yes.
Lazoo,
Yes.
Vallejo Justy,
Yes.
Not yes, resolution carries. Resolution 2606-10, HVAC maintenance contract. Be it resolved that the TCCS Board of Trustees approve the attached agreement with Inline to complete quarterly HVAC maintenance. Moved by Valeno moves, Valeo Jesse seconds. Any questions or comments from the board? Avino,
Yes.
Beck,
Yes.
Carter,
Yes.
Lazoo,
Yes.
Valeo Justy.
Yes.
Hannah, yes, resolution carries. Resolution 2606-11, acknowledgement of resignation. Be it resolved that the TCCS Board of Trustees acknowledge the immediate resignation of Genesis Gallardo. Moved by? Avino moves, second.
Beck.
Beck seconds. Any questions or comments from the board? Avino,
Yes.
Beck,
Yes.
Carter,
Yes.
Lazoo,
Yes.
Valeo Justy.
Yes.
Hannah, I'm going to abstain. Resolution carries. Resolution 2606-12, personnel appointments, summer 2026. Be it resolved that the TCCS Board of Trustees approve the following appointments for summer 2026. Summer maintenance, $25 an hour. Ms. Antonori, Ms. Beach, Mr. Doyle, Ms. Matani, Ms. Orrs, Mr. Smith, Mr. Strong, Ms. Waller, and then Ms. G and Ms. Tuffner. Moved by? Carter moves, second. Avino seconds. Any questions or comments from the board? Avino,
Yes.
Beck,
Yes.
Carter,
Oh, yes.
Lazoo,
Yes.
Valeo Justy.
Yes.
Not yes, resolution carries. Resolution 2606-13, personnel appointment. Be it resolved that the TCCS Board of Trustees approves the following for the 2026-2027 school year. Joshua Liberato, teacher at $61,005. Moved by? Zoom moves, second. Beck seconds. Any questions or comments from the board?
Is that the phys ed teacher?
Yes.
Yeah.
What do we have now?
No, right now we just have a substitute.
Oh, yes.
This is gonna be for the
Next year.
Upper school.
Next year for upper
Yeah.
school, yeah.
Any other questions or comments? Avino,
Yes.
Beck,
yes.
Carter,
Yes.
Lazoo,
Yes.
Vallejo Justy.
Yes.
Had not yes, resolution carries. Okay, before I do the next one, I have to say something. So there's two board members that are not here that are no longer on the board. It's Stacy Bahari, she did a 3-year term, and Yvette Gonzalez did a 6-year term. I think it's also really important to thank them for all their hard work and dedication. I did write a little something just to have it on the record that I wrote something. So, okay. So this is my final roll call. So I want to say after 7 years on this board and 3 years as your board president, tonight is officially my swan song. 7 years, to put that into perspective, when I started, my hair was its natural color, my coffee intake was reasonable, and I still believe the quick executive session actually meant quick. But here tonight, my heart is incredibly full. I want to express my deepest gratitude to the board members who came before me, the ones who are long gone, but definitely not forgotten. They are the ones who paved the way, established the groundwork, and most importantly, left behind a very detailed manual on how these survey results are supposed to be presented. In all seriousness, we inherit the successes of those who volunteered before us, and I'm forever grateful for their mentorship and vision. To my current board members, thank you. Thank you for your tireless dedication, your attendance here and at community events, and for being supportive not only to me, but to each other. I feel like we have become a family with individual thoughts and ideas, but with a respect that allows us to work collaboratively. We have tackled some massive projects, disagreed constructively, laughed a lot, and genuinely cared about this community. You are an incredible group of people, and it has been an honor to serve alongside you. To the incoming board, I have some words of encouragement. You've got this. Don't panic. Take a deep breath. Lean on each other, and remember, you can't please 100% of the people 100% of the time. But if you can hit the majority, you're doing great. Embrace the challenge, enjoy the camaraderie, and remember that you are here because you care. And finally, to our wonderful community, a board is only as strong as the community it serves. I want to encourage all of you to stay involved, show up, and voice your ideas. But as I step down, I also want to leave you with a small reminder about the board's members' role and what it actually is. We are stewards, strategists, and volunteers. We are not mind readers, not magicians, and contrary to popular belief, we do not have a direct line to control the traffic. We are just neighbors doing our best to keep this community thriving. Please continue to support this next board with patience and kindness. Thank you for trusting me with the responsibility for the last 7 years. It's been a wild, wonderful ride, and I'm looking forward to sitting in the audience or online, drinking my coffee, and just learning how to be a mama. Please remember that the Board of Trustees plays a crucial role in guiding the strategic direction and governance of TCCS, ensuring that it remains true to its mission and serves the community effectively. They work diligently to oversee financial health, policy, formulation, and overall growth of the organization. So thank you, guys. Okay. Last one. Okay, Resolution 2606-14, closed session. Be it resolved that the TCCS Board of Trustees go into closed session to discuss a personnel matter, the lead person evaluation, on June 15, 2026. Moved by? Avino moves. Second? Beck seconds. We also have to say that we're not making any decisions when we come back to public comment, okay? Avino?
Yes.
Beck?
Yes.
Carter?
Yes.
Lazu? Leo Justy?
Yes.
Had not, yes. Resolution carries. We are going into closed session at
8:48.
8:48 p.m. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, guys.
How we celebrate. I'm sad, but I'm happy, guys.